everyone. So in this video I'm going to be making a big workbench for the middle of here. So the design of this workshop is around being able to lift up a car in the middle. That isn't something I do all the time, but when I want to do it, it's going to be a really handy feature to have. You know, a few times a year I have to do a bit of work on a van, and on my van or on my girlfriend's car, and I want to be able to use this space where all the tools are conveniently to be able to lift the car up, get under it and do those jobs. So finally, after many years of struggling with an arc welder, got myself a MIG welder. All that time I spent making complex machines with an arc welder. Those days are gone, showing it can be done. Now I've got a MIG welder. I don't really know how to MIG weld, we'll soon learn. Right, so when I sight down this, it's very square. I use that as my square, so that's a piece of machined board, and perfect for that, so that should be good. But it's got a slight twist in it. I mean, very slight, a few millimeters. I've got a little gap here and here. If I tack these now, I think that should pull it round. This is why you need a welding fixture table, which is exactly what this is, but without one, it's quite difficult. It did close up. For some reason the power went off. Why did my power go off? It's actually an incredibly accurate way of seeing if something's got a twist in it. Generally I use it for woodworking, but if you sight down the two things, you want those two posts to line up top and bottom perfectly with your eye. Yeah, you don't want to see one at the bottom. Well, you can tell if it's off. Yeah, that's perfect now. It was off, we use the weld to pull it round. So now I've got to try and make sure it doesn't move anymore. Right, so that is one frame down. So that piece of metal there, 1600 wide, 10mm thick plate, sits on this. It should sit square. We go. Yeah. Now there's a section in the middle that's thinner to allow for the cables to go under the lift once the lift's in place. And then there's another one of those, and then that makes up the bench. Right, we're getting somewhere. Right then, it's the next day. So I'm pleased with these, I'm pleased they're square and everything like that. That's happening because it's on uneven floor. So normally I wouldn't want to weld these up yet because, you know, there could still be changes. But in this scenario, because everything's going to get so heavy, I'm not going to be able to move it or get under it, so they're going to have to be welded up now. So I'm going to weld these all round, keep checking and make sure they don't move on me. Weld the underneath, and then we can move on to building this bridge across the middle. Oh yeah, that's looking good. That is perfect now. Wire-free great settings. Yeah, that's good. There you go, the settings the machine gave put me right in the ballpark, like really pretty good to be honest. But I tweaked them a little bit, added about half a volt more and a little bit less wire feed, and they're coming out a bit better. Right, so this is that section that sits in the middle that allows the cables to run under the bench when the bench is down in its lowered position. I'll just cut out all my pieces and I'm just going to weld it up. Been messing around trying to do a rip cut on this plate. This is a plate for the top, it's just too long. Just started it but it didn't quite work, so I'm going to try again. So I think I know what I did wrong. So I think I need to reference that. Rip cut Y, I want 1200 like that. Feed rate, I'm going to start the feed rate quite a bit slow. Let's go 150, so it starts slow and ramps up, and then I'll increase it once it's bored a hole through. Right. Here we go. Please work. Right, at the plasma table, I'm going to have a go at cutting out all the holes for this welding fixture plate. As you can see, the table is, the piece I'm cutting is bigger than the table, so I've got to do it in two halves. And if I can get this to work out, it's going to be a miracle, but I'm going to try it. I'm still learning. So I'm just doing this plasma cutting out all these holes. The wind turbine is getting a battering. We're in a big storm. If it survives this, I'll be surprised. The furling tail's out constantly. There it goes, look. There's the furling tail whipping round, pulling it out of the wind. It's really struggling. Yeah. Oh god, steamed up instantly. Right, well I messed up that plate, so that's going to sit there now until I find a better use for it. Basically, I missed it bowed from the heat, and then the torch grabbed it, moved it a little bit, and then threw the last 20 holes off, so it scrapped it. Never mind. I'm going to manually drill the holes in a new bit of plate instead, because it's going to be more accurate. This machine is capable of doing it, but currently I'm not in my power situation. So I'm going to manually drill them. Alright, this is my first go at nesting parts together. Haven't done that before. So I'm going to try, and these are all leg parts. out of this 4mm sheet. So I'm going to have a go at cutting that all out today, which is going to be a bit nerve-wracking, but I think we can do it. Let's have a look at the cut. So it's to have quite even sides. Ah, brilliant. A little bit of dross, but that'll come off. Excellent. Right, that's my most successful cutting operation so far. I'm really pleased with that. Alright, just unloaded my car lift. It's exciting. So yeah, this is integral to the bench because the bench lifts up and down via it. It's a strange design, but I think it's going to work for me. If it doesn't, I can change things. I can like cut the workbench in half and have two movable ones and move out of the way or whatever. But I think it's going to work out. It makes a lot of use of a small space with a little tiny bit of faffing about. But yeah, really nice. I'm really pleased with it. It's a relatively cheap lift that I bought, and it looks really good, I have to say. It looks excellent. Well, time will tell. Right, little update of where we are. Got my leg parts cut out. The main frame of the bench is welded. It's sitting lovely and square. I mean, it's absolutely millimetre perfect, which I'm really proud of. So now I need to weld in this centre support, grind off the welds on top, and then get these plates on and start drilling all the holes. So yeah, let's do some welding. This welder, by the way, is fantastic. I have no experience of MIG welding. You just set, well, I've got a 3mm box and I've got a 5mm box as well, so I'm going to go with 4mm thick. I reckon that'll be about right. You just set your thickness and it just does your settings for you, and it gets it pretty good. Trust me, I do have to tweak it a little bit sometimes, but not a lot. You know, as long as you're in these green ranges, it tends to work really well. For some reason on my power system, the inductance tends to work better if it's a little bit lower. But yeah, works excellent. Alright, let's get this welded up. A little bit undercut, but that's kind of what I want. It's less grinding because the top needs to sit flat on this. Right, let's see if I can do a really nice weld. I'm going to get proper position, really concentrate. It's all getting ground off anyway, but I've done proper preparation. Let's see how we can do. Nice. That is a decent weld. Right, had a bit of help to slide these over. Just roughly plasma cut the corners off, just with a hand plasma. Now I'm going to tackle these on a bit better, and then we're ready to fit the car lift to be able to lift it up. Really pleased about how it's gone in, to be honest. All tightened up well. Yeah, really good. Good and strong. exciting moment. A lot of work got to get to this point. Let's see. Lift this up. Don't need anymore. Pointless instructions. Right. Let's go. Easy does it. Haha. Let's not lift it too high to start with. That has worked a treat. I'm well pleased with that. Just to hold it. Okay. Right. One leg. It looks like my design. Well, please. Getting good with this welder. Getting the hang of it now. They're not even cleaned up joints, you know. It's just a workbench. But yeah, coming out nice. Morning everyone. So goal of today is to get all these legs mounted. Good. So yeah, they're going to be mounted with 3 12mm bolts, nice and strong. But I'll start with just getting one mounted in the centre. It ain't going to work. So I'm using this welded in nut as like a way of fixing things. Does that make sense? Yeah. Good. Right, I'm ready to, I've got my legs, middle legs on. fixed in place. I'm ready to lower it down and put it on its on its legs. See if it wobbles around all over the place. Right, here we go. That's it. There we go. No weight on them. Lovely. Solid. Oops. Right, I'm just at my CNC plasma table. These are the feet for the legs. Some additional little supports. So I'm just giving them some commands, and then that's ready to go. So we shall send that to the plasma table, or Mac 3, and send that to the plasma table, cut them out for the feet. Leg foot supports, there we go. Yeah, still got a lot to learn, but I am getting there. So there we go, that's our cut out plan. Yeah, let's cut it out. I'll tell you what, if you want to live off grid and cut 10mm steel, 300 holes in a big sheet that's bigger than your plasma table, that doesn't really work. If you want to live off grid and cut 4mm steel with a plasma table, works a treat. So these are the feet, and they got the centre leg feet, and there are a couple of supports. Right, the main legs, the end legs rather, have got their feet welded on. Now to do the centre legs. The centre legs get one of these. And I left plenty of room to put like adjuster feet on if I wanted to, or wheels, you know, whatever. Yeah. And I've also got these supports, but I made these, I cut them out without checking the angle, and I obviously put the angle slightly wrong, so it'll take a bit of fiddling with to get them to fit. Yeah, we have a support, and a little support there, and a foot. The design criteria around these legs is strength, rigidity, and lightness. And go. Right, so there is the centre leg. That acts as a bit of a handle, so that's nice. It's not heavy at all really. Perfectly manageable. Really not difficult to fit. Just come in here, slide it in, throw the bench onto it, put the bolts in. Right, stick it on its feet. So that's it. Go. Right, so the design of this is all structured around versatility. There's a little bit of a hindrance of having to lift the bench up and so on, but it gives me versatility from a small space, which I like. I don't want massive buildings. I want them to be small and versatile. If it means I've got to spend 15 minutes just doing this, that's alright. The idea behind this is you release that, we move these out of the way, to the side. This is where we see if all my workings out has actually worked. Move that to the side, move that to the side, and then ladder it down, which I shall fast forward for you because it will be a bit boring. Probably take longer to wait for this to lower down than it does to set the thing up. You've got that out. Right, yeah, and after that, these tuck in under there then. Like that, out of the way. And then you can get in here, and this is not, it's not a hindrance. I can get all across this bench, no problem. Oh, I'm well pleased with that. I was quite worried that that would work, do you know? Because, I mean, it's an odd design, you know, but I don't usually do things by the rules. Yeah, that's worked out perfect. I'm well pleased with that. It's not going to be that much of a hindrance to use. Brilliant. So this end of the bench is the welding fixture table end, and just waiting for a mag drill to show up from Evolution, and then we're going to start drilling this because it didn't work out on the plasma table. The plasma table will definitely do it on a grid connected system, but on my system it just didn't like it. Right, so my plan here to lay this out is I've got myself a centre line. I'm going to manually drill out. I'm doing 50mm centres of holes. So I'm going to manually drill out 3 holes. And then I'm going to make a jig which locates in those holes that's square, and then I can just work along with the jig. I want absolute less than millimetre accuracy with this. So that's 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and they're 50mm apart to the centres. Right, so my drill showed up. Lovely thing it is. This is a magnet drill, so it has a magnetic base. So I've put a little pin. Evolution sent me this, which is nice of them. I've got a little pointed pin in there, which helps me locate this hole, just like that. So that's in the hole, and then turn the magnet on. There's the magnet. How cool is that? is a really nice, perfect 16mm hole. That is really good. I'm pleased with that. So, procedure is wind that up, get my little pointy pin that I made, which goes up in there carefully because it's a carbide bit. That locates in the centre there. Then bring this down until that finds its little hole there. Magnet on. That's fixed. This comes up. That comes out. It's a bit tight. And then we're ready to drill. But I'm going to double check it. Hole number 2 of, well, about 600 is down. And I tell you, there's something really pleasing about that. The next day, I'm getting there. I decided to lay it out manually. I think you probably see my scribe lines. I'm finding it's pretty accurate, to be honest. As accurate as I'm going to get it, drilling it manually. I'm within about 0.5 millimetre everywhere. So I just made this little plate on the mill. So I squared it off on the mill, and I spaced these holes exactly 50mm apart using the DRO. And I've got these bolts, but they're 16mm bolts, but they've got a bit of play in them, but they're the only thing I've got at the moment. I'm just going along testing this for fitment in all my places to make sure. You see there's a bit of slack in it because of the bolts, because the bolt's not quite being right, but the fit is working nice everywhere. So I think we are pretty accurate. And it's all sitting square, you know. Certainly seems to be within the sort of tolerance that I'd be happy with. So I'm going to keep going with that method I'm using because it seems to be working. I've checked it for square and the squareness is great. So yeah, pleased with that. Right, it is dark out, evening time. You see how many I've done. Not that many. And keeping accuracy in mind, taking my time with it. It did take quite a while. Done about 200 so far, something like that. I'm getting there with this, slowly but surely. God, it's a lot of work. So I'm halfway, well, just past halfway, not including the edge bits. About 2.5 days so far to get this far. So yeah, this is not a small task. Right, still doing these holes. Doing my head in, to be honest, but I haven't got that many left. But yeah, I thought I'd show you this massive amount of cuteness going on over here. So Dot's making a sheep shelter. Have a look over here, look. You driving the tractor? Are you driving the tractor? Oh, that is a cute tiger, isn't it? Do you get a bit hot, big girl? Yeah, too hot on that seat, isn't it? Right, keep drilling. It's going well. It's really square. It's all going to plan. I'm just really bored of it. So I've been checking this for square the whole time I've been going. And now I'm towards the end of it. I've only got 4 more rows. Obviously, the larger the area, the more accurate check for square it is. So if I have a look what line we're on, so have a look down here. So there we are, to that dot, from that corner of that bolt to that dot. Got 1, 5, 5, 7. Yeah. Right, we're on the other side now. We're on the other, unfortunately, on the other side of the tape. But you see, we're at 1, 5, 5, maybe 7 or 8 to the centre of the hole. But we're very close. We're within a millimetre over that distance, which is pretty good. Right, gonna call it a day for today. Just got 2 more rows of holes to do in the morning, and then it's done. I think I'm gonna leave the sides for now. I might do them if I need it, but yeah, I'm kind of sick of doing that. Sheep shelter's done. Go and show you these lights off. Right. Wind turbine's going. Sun's out. Loads of power. So there we go. Doc got the sheep shelter done. Put that out in the field tomorrow. The sheep don't mind the rain. In fact, they quite like the rain, I think. But what they don't like is the sun. They really want a bit of shade because they get too hot. So that's what that is. Shade shelter. Right, down to the last few holes here. It has been a bit of a mental battle for me doing this because it's been very repetitive. And I should have got this little pin kit for these. It's been a bit of a pain putting this in and out. There's like a spring-loaded pin that you can get. Should have got that. The drill's been very good. Like I say, this one bit has drilled 600 holes, which is, I mean, that is really impressive. 600 holes, and it's like new still, and I haven't even been oiling it for a while. But the drill itself is very good. The magnet is excellent. You can't unstick the magnet. It could just do with a little bit more rigidity because this clamp tends to walk up a little bit and it's got a slight wiggle. But for the price, it's very good. Like I say, I've drilled 600 holes with it. They're accurate. It could just do with a bit more clamping force to stop it moving up under pressure and a little bit more rigidity. But like I say, for the price of it, comparison to others, I mean, it's very good. Right, got it all tidied up, cleaned off. Really pleased with that. So now I'm just going to, what a treat this is by the way, to be able to put something and actually work on a bench. I've been doing all this off the floor. Yeah, and what I'm going to do now is, because all the weight of the bench is sitting on the bolts at the moment, now that I'm happy with it, where everything is, I'm just going to take some box section cut off, weld them sort of under there, just so it's the weight is sitting on that as well as the bolts, if you know what I mean, so that we locate them so the bolts line up. Yeah, do that, very easy. instead of making adjuster feet for these, because the bench is always going to sit in the same spot, it was sitting a bit off level, so I've just added another 2 layers of feet, and that's going to put the bench level. So I'll just make sure that all these legs are a custom fit. I've welded on the stopper on the back, that just goes on there, lines up, put the bolt in, done. So I'm going to weld the other feet on to sort out the levels, and then that's all my little jobs done. Right, they're all done. Lower this down and see if it sits level. And then I've got one more thing to correct. There's a bow in the middle I need to sort out. Let's just do this hot rolled steel. Right, that's the weight on that. Check the levels. It's all looking good so far. Right, that's not too bad. There's still a tiny bit out, but it's millimetres as opposed to, it was 8mm packed out. It was, I did, so yeah, pretty good. I'm pleased with that. Stuff's not going to roll off it anyway. Right, the bulk of the work is done on the actual workbench itself, and I just need now a load of little fixtures and different bits for it. Hang on, I need to think about this for a second. What did I just call that? Square full set, there we go. Yes, I need some like squares and fixtures and things, so I've just designed, well actually I copied someone else's design but changed it to suit my material thickness and needs a little bit. But it's essentially a square with all the holes cut out for the 50mm centres, and these are 5-degree increments that line up with the whole pattern on the table. And so I'm going to cut these out, and it's a weld together square that all fits together. So yeah, I think we're ready to go with that. Right, those parts are all cut out, so just got them stacked in sets ready to be cleaned up. It's nice on one side, but get a bit of dross on the other. Now next parts. Right, continuing on with making tooling for my table. So this is a like multi-combination square. It's a copy of I think Fireball Tools on YouTube came up with the design. It looks like a really cool, efficient design, but I've changed it, drawn it, 'cause I couldn't find the file, so drawn it myself, changed these holes for my thickness of material that I've got lots of, which is 4mm, changed all these so that these fit on these, and it welds together with weld joints, and put in 50mm hole spacing so it can bolt down to my table. And I'm just ready to basically give this some operations to cut it out. Pretty cool, eh? So I don't take credit for this design. I copied the design, but came up with the ability to make it on the plasma table. Still need to cut out that hole. That was a mistake. Yeah, sits nice and flat. All the angles are good. Yeah. An expensive piece of equipment that didn't cost much at all. Two of my smaller welding squares. So these are obviously, you can bolt them down that way square, or the other way square, or you can put it down that way, and then you've got square face there, which you can bolt down, or you've got 5-degree increments there. So that's 5, or so if we got 45, it'd be 40, 35. So yeah, 5-degree increments or whatever you want. And then obviously there's slots, so you can slide back and forward. Yeah, I need some better pins, because these bolts are oversized. 16mm bolts aren't actually 16mm, so there's a bit too much play. But yeah, them two down. So I've got the parts left for 2 more of them. They're also perfectly square to each other, so we could use them to make a box. I don't know if they'd actually line up to clamp to something though. Oh yeah, they could clamp to the slots there. So there we go, have them as a box. So yeah, I've got the parts to make 2 more of them and 1 more of these. Just need to clean this one up and drill out that one hole, and then we've got lots of welding fixtures. Right, that's them 4 done. As you see, they all sit nicely together. I mean, they're not machining square tolerances, but they're certainly welding square tolerances, so I'm pleased with them. So now I'm just going to make 1 more of these, finish 1 more of these off, because I've got the parts for 1 more, and then that's it. And we're done. Well, as good as we're going to get done in this video anyway. Still got some grinding of these to do, flatten them off and make sure they're perfect. And yeah, bring you in closer. So I took some of this piece of this hex bar. This was an old little crappy cheap drill press thing that I got for free, and I made a little stop out of it. I was hoping to get 10 of these made in this video, but I just haven't got the time. I spent so long on this video now, so I'm going to do them one evening. But they're nice little stops that just, they're a much tighter fit. So then you can, butt stuff up to them, and it's square, that sort of thing. So I'm going to make a load of them, as many as I can get out of that. And then I'm also going to get some 16mm bar. I mean, I could use a bolt, but bar would be better. Cut that off, weld that to them, and then they'll sit in these holes. It'll go in there, and then you can clamp, because it'll force it to the side and grab in the hole, and then you can have the clamps. I was hoping to do all that in this video, just run out of time. So that is going to be the end of this video. It's been a long one, I know, but there was a lot to do. A lot of planning went into this, a lot of materials, and it weighs literally a ton, so it took a long time. And then 600 holes, and then all the fixtures, and learning how to use my plasma cutter. But yeah, it's turned out exactly as I hoped and exactly as I planned, so I'm really pleased with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is take it all apart, lower it, and bring my van in here and lift my van up, because my MOT's run out and I really need to get my van back on the road. So this has delayed that a little bit, but I wanted to leave it until I have my lift, because I've got some welding to do on the van. So yeah, tomorrow the van is going to be raised up on this lift. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video and thanks for watching.